𝐻𝐼𝐴N was focused, doing her job as a chef in the restaurant kitchen. Everyone around was busy. Waiters going in and out constantly to serve the food. Suddenly, the kitchen door swung open. There walked a group of men, momentarily stealing everyone's attention. Everyone paused. 𝐻𝐼𝐴N wiped her hands on her apron and stood there, following her seniors. The head chef stepped forward to greet the man standing in the center. He nodded and passed a smile, and his eyes scanned the whole kitchen. Everyone standing there bowed their heads down. Nodding, he again gazed back at the head chef. Their conversation was interrupted by a stern senior staff member who overheard their gossip. 𝐻𝐼𝐴N and 𝐸𝐫𝐸 exchanged a glance, realizing what they did in the presence of the restaurant's owner, but gladly he didn't notice. Suddenly, JUNGKOOK's gaze locked on to 𝐻𝐼𝐴N and 𝐸𝐫𝐸. They went quiet. 𝐻𝐼𝐴N and JUNGKOOK stepped into the mansion. She couldn't help but notice the guards standing here and there. He glanced and smirked as she was audible. They made their way to the kitchen, and she was awestruck just by the look of it. Two chefs were already bustling around, and 𝐻𝐼𝐴N took a mental note of the impressive kitchen layout. He called her out without averting his gaze from the documents he was focused on. She looked around and he tilted his head, his gaze now on her, while his men standing there exchanged glances at each other. She too could feel his gaze upon herself, but tried to ignore. Surely his ego was hurt, man who was so arrogant and full of himself, but now she too regretted saying such a thing. Soon after, they engaged in a conversation about her working schedule, preferences, and her culinary expertise, the tension from the earlier subsided into a more relaxed atmosphere as they discussed few other matters. As the clock struck 7, her preparations were laid out on the dining table. Jungkook entered, and the atmosphere became charged with a sudden tension. She was about to serve when he First day working there was a success, though interaction with Jungkook were a bit tensed, but she was happy with her job. Days passed and she settled into her role as Jungkook's personal chef. She was preparing a lunch for him when he entered, which he usually never did earlier. The atmosphere shifted as he hovered nearby, watching her every move. She was in the room assigned to her when noticed his car entering the front gate. She had decided to go downstairs to greet him. Hours passed and 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐚, still lingering in the kitchen, decided on preparing a small cake, hoping to cheer him up, though wasn't sure how a Mafia boss will react to it. The aroma of baking filled the kitchen as she worked. 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐚, fuming with frustration after Jungkook's outburst, stormed into the kitchen, determined not to let his mood affect her. She grabbed a knife and cut a sizable piece of the cake she had prepared for him. As she took a bite of the cake, a mix of annoyance and disappointment crossed her face. She continued venting her frustration, expressing her annoyance at his lack of gratitude. Later, placed half of the cake in the fridge, leaving the kitchen behind. Her mood was still tainted by the encounter with Jungkook. Time skipped, and as told by Mrs. Lee, Jungkook's cousin visited him and, eager to explore the mansion, stumbled upon 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐚, who was preparing a dish for Jungkook. Over the next few days, Min-jae's demeanor transformed. He became surprisingly friendly, often lingering around the mansion. In particular, he spent a considerable amount of time in the kitchen, engaging in conversations with the chefs, but his attention was notably fixed on 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐚. and was setting the table, and Jungkook was yet to come. But Min-jae strolled in, a smug smile playing on his lips. Jungkook sat at his desk